just while we were setting up, this is Toons That Go Bump in the Night. This is our horror anime panel. This is probably one of our oldest panels, but at the same time, this is a panel I do my best to frequently update, you know, season by season, looking for some new good stuff, looking for some old good stuff, some obscure stuff. This panel is going to have a mix of surreal horror, some gory stuff, some creepy stuff, lots of cool things, and I gotta get out of my chair.
Rated R. Rated R, matey. Kid always mentions every time we play this, she's like, oh god, I made that 4 years ago. I could make that so much better.
Yes,
now.
I made that in 2013 when I didn't even know what layer masking in, and I'm just like, why is the footage breaking? Now, this is something we don't show in a lot of panels either, but this is our old-fashioned legal beagle. It pretty much says we're going to be showing you excerpts of a variety of anime, and if you like some of these anime, please purchase them. We will give you legal streaming and purchasing information, so please support the anime.
Although we need to update that with a couple of these, because this first one...
Some of these recently got re-picked up.
Because Higurashi has been relicensed. Sentai Filmworks picked it up, and I believe you can stream it on either Crunchyroll or AnimeNetwork.com now.
Yes.
They sadly didn't dub the second season. Geneon picked... This is one of the last ones Geneon did before they went under. And... Geneon never finished the second season, and I really, really would wish that I would redo this. That dub was terrible.
But we always like to kick off with this show because this was pretty much the first horror anime I ever saw. I remember watching this on Crunchyroll years ago, back in the days of dark Crunchyroll. But this was based on an indie visual novel that was infamous for starting out very lighthearted, very moe, kind of haremish, and then going completely off the rails as time went on.
祭り？物は言ったじゃん。綿流しのお祭り。リカちゃんはそのお祭りの。
I also do want to mention this show was done by Studio Dean, so you may notice a little jankiness in places.
傷んで使えなくなったお布団とかドテレとかにね、ご苦労様って感謝して供養しながら沢に流すお祭りなの。
なんか退屈そうなお祭りだな。
退屈どころか今年もやるぜ。
なんだそれ。
圭一もいますから、今年はご協爆頭になりますです。日頃の部活で培った実力をご披露するのでございますわ。つまり露店巡りをしながら部活動をするわけです。
なるほど。
Wait for it.
I know.
具合はどう？元気そうでよかった。心配してたんだよ。
悪かったな。
まだ本調子じゃないみたいだね。
そうか。
これ、みーちゃんのおばあちゃんが作ってくれたおはぎだよ。
サンキュー。
その中にね、ベルが作ったのも混じってるんだよ。ケイチ君に見つけられるかな。これ、部活を
The old school moe just dripping off of this, just like...
明日回答すること。
お前ら、お見舞いなのか部活なのか、どっちかにしろ。
元気。これなら明日は大丈夫そうだね。みーちゃん、もう行こう。あんまり騒いで悪いよ。そうだね。あ、そうそう、ケイ ケイちゃん、
なんだよ。
お昼何食べた？
表で食べたよ。
お昼は外食だったんだね。どう？美味しかった？渋いおじさまとご一緒だったみたいだけど。誰？ひょっとしてこの間の人かな？
なんでそんなことを。
で、何のお話をしてたの？ずいぶんと熱くなってたみたいだけど。
みんなの話はしてないよ。
なんだか怪しいの。ま、何を隠れてやろうとも、私には全てお見通しってこと。それだけを忘れないでくれればいいかな。圭一くん、顔色悪いよ。もう横になった方がいいと思うな。そうだね。私たちはもう帰ろう。明日学校休んじゃ嫌だよ。
Well, I am kind of hungry.
なんであいつら。
横になってた方がいいと思うな。
レナ、
お医者さんに電話したからもうすぐ来ると思う。
どうしてここに。
お邪魔しま
ミオ、なんで。
お家の人いなかったから私がね、電話したの。あれ？元気そうじゃん。心配して損したかな。レナ、監督には電話した？みーちゃんに電話した後、すぐ来るって言ってたよ。
監督ってなんだよ。
ケイちゃん知らないの？監督って言ったら監督だよ。ケイちゃん、最近は野球に凝ってるんだよね。監督、それ聞いたら喜ぶと思うな。
だから監督って誰だよ。
監督は監督さんだよ。
だから誰だよ。お前ら。
そうだ、監督が来る前に済ませとくかな。罰ゲーム。
罰ゲームに。
おはぎの宿題、確か忘れてたよね。
何の真似だよ。
動かないでね、罰ゲームだから。
なんだよそれ。何の真似だよ。
ケイちゃん、分かってんでしょ。
何が分かってるって。
薬物を疑いましたが、そういう類のものは検出できませんでした。
勘弁して。
やめろやめろ。
Well, that escalated quickly. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, if you've never seen the show, watch the first 5 episodes. If you don't know anything about it and you aren't expecting it, the beginning of episode 5 quite possibly may be the greatest mindfuck in the history of anime.
And I feel like it's something that way too many people spoil. Now, Pictus, I was gonna go.
Don't read spoilers about it. Just go in and watch it.
Now, since this is Ushicon, I was gonna do one of our new clips, maybe either this or that.
No, do this one second last.
Oh, okay, do
Because that's the brain bleach.
Why not do that one? Because we can't show that like anti-con besides this one.
Okay!
Okay, who likes hentai? So we watched this show as kind of research for our hentai dubs panel, and it was so genuinely disturbing, fucked up, and horrifying that it earned a place in Toons That Go Bump in the Night instead.
Yes, we originally watched it because the guy who does the ADR directing for this particular hentai is a guy who usually directs a lot of the funny stuff, and so we're like, this is gonna be funny, right?
そんなに興奮されるとお体に触ります。これで寮長のおだるこのものだからね。よっしゃ。寮長、もうこの島から出してあげないんだから。
That's not worrying at all. これは人形？ホテル号？始めてちょうだい。よかったね、ミサ。あなたも水野様のお役に立てるのよ。
生贄の女の血で赤い花を咲かせたと言われている。
Not a fun show.
Yeah, so
You can't even think of what to say.
I can't even think of what to say. That clip is fairly self-explanatory.
Now, since this is this con, I kind of wanted to go more towards the obscure stuff. I was thinking about this.
Put whatever you want.
Okay. Here's the thing. Much like with our Takashi Miike panel, this is one of those panels where we have somewhere around 40 different clips that we kind of rotate
Cycle
throughout
in and out.
cons. And you know, because this is Ushicon, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen a ton of scary anime, we're trying to tend towards the stuff you may not have seen yet.
And because this is Ushicon, we can show the stuff that we can't show at all Ushicons.
But one of the
This one's not an 18 plus clip though.
Yes, not everything can be 18 plus, sadly. But this show I always like to describe as Mushishi on acid. You have the main character, this mysterious medicine seller, who travels across feudal Japan trying to take down spirits.
And you'll notice that the art and direction style in this are really weird.
シノ、愛してる。
若旦那、私。
シノ、愛してる。愛してる。
私は使用人です。
愛してる。
大旦那様や奥様がお許しになりません。
愛してる。夫婦になろう。
夫婦、本気ですか？
どんなことがあったって関係ない。
本当に？
本当にお前だけが好きなんだ。
そうなんだ。じゃあ教えてあげる。
なんだい、何を教えてくれるんだい。
私、若旦那様のやや子がお腹に。
そうなんだ。
どうせ金持ちなら誰でもいいんだろう。
バカな娘だよ。なあ、特に。
二度とお屋敷には戻りません。
お前、男でも産んでみろ。後からのこのこ出てこられたら、大旦那と奥様が困るだろう。
若旦那様ともきちんとお別れしてきたんです。
世間知らずの若の言い分なんか俺には関係ねえ。
私がただ産みたいだけ。ただそれだけだよ。
ここまで来たら手ぶらじゃ帰れねえよ。死のだけど
おっか。
いいな。決めた。この人たちにする。ありがとう。僕にもボッカーができたよ。
下手人は人じゃありませんぜ。
これを
なんで薬売りがこんな気色悪いけど。
キリに来たんですよ。
何よ。
もののけをね。
Well, that was fucking weird.
The whole series is like that. I I believe it's only 8 episodes long, but it's all really cool. Now, we are going to change gears a bit here and go from feudal Japan to some sci-fi horror.
Alright, so our next series is set in the distant future of 2013.
I swear to God, every year this show gets funnier.
This gets funnier every year. So, in a world where aliens have made contact with Earth, and hostile aliens invade on a regular basis, our first line of defense is preteens on rollerblades.
I love the fact that there was actually a lacrosse team staying at the hotel across at this con, because they're on roller skates and they hit things with lacrosse sticks. Now, one of the interesting things about this show is if you pick this up, please watch the dub. They used a lot of the original English cast from Pokemon. The main character is voiced by Misty. The obviously not super suspicious teacher is voiced by Ash.
And Ash also voices a random cameo of a little kid running on screen chasing bugs, and he screams, "We gotta catch 'em all!"
Now,
But as ridiculous as this sounds, and as silly as this looks, we put this in Toons That Go Bump in the Night for a reason, because it gets really fucked up really quick.
はい、皆さん揃ったところで説明を始めます。私はエイリアン対策係担当の久川めぐみと言います。今日から皆さんは1年間この第9小学校のエイリアン対策係ということになります。よかったですね。よくない。さてひなちゃん、この子はボーグと言います。強制型のエイリアンです。強制ってわかりますよね。はい、規制と違ってギブアンドテイクの関係ってことですよね。正解です。つまりこの子たちを頭に乗せることで危険から身を守ってもらうということですね。だから嫌だったんだ。慣れればどうってことないでしょ。そうそう、今度の土曜日皆さんのお家に家庭訪問に行きます。お家の人に聞いてくださいね。大谷さん、大谷さん、
運動場にエイリアンが落ちてきました。対策が済むまで一般の生徒は教室から出ないでください。
気持ち悪い。さあ、いってらっしゃい。
2002年カリフォルニアが最初。第1期コンタクトは
1998年10月。正解。あら、あなたたちまだいたの？先生が残ってるからもう帰ってもいいわよ。いえ、ユリが終わるまで待ってます。そう。なんで私一人でやるんだろう。みんなでやれば全然早いのに。あとは水槽のエイリアンたちか。みんな待っててくれるかな。私は押し付けられただけなんだもん。
すねたって無駄だぜ。
喋れるんだ。
ここじゃなんだから食事でもしながらどうだい？
食事？
言ったろ、ギブアンドテイクってやつさ。
So the anime covers the first 3 volumes of the manga, which in of itself gets pretty fucked up. But if you read the manga and can get a hold of the 4th volume, oh my god.
It's pretty twisted. Now we can't just do like super obscure stuff. So
we're gonna go with something, since it's still kind of early, we'll go with something a little bit more familiar.
First, okay.
Something some more folks may have heard of.
This is Final Destination, the anime. You have a guy who he moves to a small town in the country.
Small town, shit goes down.
Yes. He sees this really cute girl with an eye patch, and everyone in town is like, you must not speak to her or bad things will happen. And he's like, what bad things? And they're like, we can't tell you.
So
and then everything goes to shit.
And like everybody dies. The body count in this anime is extremely high. And if you've seen this show, you know exactly which scene we're about to show you. Please don't spoil it.
Misaki って知ってるか？3年3組の。
Now those of you who have seen this show to the end, keep an eye on all the stuff they flash on screen during this opening narration.
The opening narration foreshadows just about every death in the series.
頭も顔も性格も良かったらしいんだ。だから生徒にも先生にも好かれててさ。
いるよね、学年に1人はそういう人。
ところが3年に上がってすぐその美咲が死んじゃったのさ。
どうして？
事故って聞いた。それでな、みんなものすごいショックを受けてさ。そんな中でふと誰かが言い出したんだ。
なんで？
美咲が使ってた机を指さして、美咲はそこにいる、美咲は死んじゃいないって。
それって
まあ不利なんだけどな。それから3組じゃその後もずっと美咲が生きてるっていうふりをし続けることにしたのさ。 校長の計らいで美咲の席が用意されたらしい。
いい話じゃない。
ここまでなら
続きあるんだ。
その続きってのはあのさ、26年前の3組のあの話の続きって何？
誰も教えてくれない？まあしょうがないか。
前から聞きたかったんだけど、転校してきてからずっと気になってるんだけど、どうしてなのかな。クラスの連中、それから先生もどうして君を。
いないものだから。
いいか榊、いないものの相手をするのはよせ。そんなやばいんだよそれ。でも
みんなには私のこと見えてないの。見えてるのは榊原君、あなただけだとしたら。
まさかそんな。どうしたんだ。
見せてあげようか。見せてあげようか。この眼帯の下。
And to find out, you'll have to watch the series. That one's been picked up by Sentai. I believe you can get it on AnimeNetwork.com.
And I know in the dub, the main two are played by Greg Ayres and Monica Rial.
Well, that was a joke they always made because they...
Dead Man too.
Yeah, because they talked about how they went down to Houston and did the main two roles in another, and then right after that, drove up to Dallas and did the main two roles in Dead Man Wonderland.
And then they went back to Houston for Kokoro Connect. So
Right.
apparently Greg Ayres' Monica Rial is now its own genre. Now,
this is one that's very new.
yes, this is probably one of the newest anime I've included in this list, but I wanted to shout it out. Now, back around 2013, there was a show that came out on Crunchyroll called Yami Shibai. And the big gimmick of that is that the title was based off of Kami Shibai, traditional Japanese paper puppetry. And so it had this very sort of interesting, very surreal art style. The first season of that show is great, the second and third not so much. So,
were any of you here for What the Film After Dark? Okay, you remember Zombie Ass? That director did the second season of Yami Shibai.
yes. Now, Kagewani is a show that has a very similar art style, very similar aesthetic, but it actually has an overarching story. The episodes are 12 minutes long rather than 6 minutes long, and I just feel this is kind of, it's that whole concept done much, much better.
諦めよう。もう帰らないとママに怒られるよ。バカ、見つけないと俺が怒られるんだよ。ああ、 くる。何かあったらお前だけでも逃げろ。待ってよ。
君たち、なぜここに？
僕たちドローンを探しに来て。
話は後だ。早く外に。奴の抜け殻だ。奴は脱皮して成長するらしい。
じゃあ、あいつは今どこに？
走るぞ！
まさかこんなところでバンパ先生とお会いする。
So yeah, if you like kaiju, cryptids, and conspiracy theories and stuff like that, you will love this show.
So we're running out of time. We're gonna do a few honorable mentions.
We have too many honorable mentions.
Keep an eye on our Patreon because eventually we will be putting this up on YouTube for all our Patreon subscribers who want to see all these clips again and all the ones we don't get to show.
Alright, I'm gonna try and kind of speed through these. Blood Sea. This is a semi-sequel to Blood the Last Vampire and Blood Plus, with some interesting twists. The character designs were done by Clamp, and like a lot of those shows, it's like 50% Moe, 50% Eldritch Horror. Something that's all Eldritch Horror would be Green Daughters of Nemesis.
Read is only 6 episodes. Each episode is about 45 minutes long, so you can get the whole thing on Amazon Instant for like $8.
Yes, and there is a giant spectral tree that has appeared in the middle of Tokyo.
That's releasing spores, and if the spores go into a woman, she becomes immortal. If they go into a man, he becomes an unstoppable rape demon.
Believe me, it is actually much better than it sounds. Shiki is one of my top favorite anime of all time. This is probably the best done vampire anything I can think of from like the past 8 years.
If you look, it's once again, a small township goes down. People are dying of, they think, an epidemic, but occasionally getting back up and then biting people. But if you like
morally gray stuff,
you get to know the villains in this one, and you get to see their motivations, and you get to. There's points where you can kind of understand where they're coming from. So if you like morally gray areas, this is definitely a good show.
Paranoia Agent. This was the only TV series done by legendary director Satoshi Kon. It's very, very surreal. There's a lot of social commentary in it. A lot of just fucked up randomness.
Really,
the ending is amazing.
Really, just Google the name Satoshi Kon and watch everything he ever did.
And we can't really do a horror anime panel without mentioning this show.
Elfen Lied. That straddles the line between anime and hentai.
Between hentai and really messed up hentai. Portrait de Petite Cosette is another very, very artsy one. This one was directed by Akiyuki Shinbo, who would go on to direct the Madoka Magica anime.
So you know it's not going to be happy.
He seems to have a very strong running theme, especially because he did Vampire Bun 2, of young girls and horrible suffering. Gregory Horror Show I always love to shout out. This is kind of a quirky Twilight Zone-esque children's show, animated by the same guy. If anyone's seen the kids show Pekala with the little square penguin, this was done by the same guy, and it's bizarre. Okay.
One more mention, that one. Both Rana and Naruto.
Okay.
Okay, and then finally, last honorable mention, this show is the show you want to watch if you didn't think Evangelion was depressing enough.
Yes, 50 middle school kids are essentially tricked into collectively piloting a giant robot, and the giant robot has to periodically fight with monsters from other worlds.
And each time there's going to be a fight, a few days before the fight, the robot will designate one of them to be the pilot. And then after the fight, the pilot dies. So these kids have to kind of, you see what happens when these kids are picked as pilots. They know they're going to die in 3 days and how they react to it. And sometimes it's really, really fucked up, and sometimes it is tragic.
Yes, you get a lot of these kids from troubled homes, horrible backgrounds, and it gets really fucked up.
But the creator of that then went on to make this one, Narutaro, which answers the question, what happens if Pokemon trainers were not very mentally stable, but still controlled godlike creatures?
Yes, all of these kids get these little cute, adorable partners called Dragonets, and they're like, hey, I have the power to blow shit up now. Oh, we're just kind of speaking.
The best part is that keeps the opening theme.
Oh God, yes.
Which foreshadows all the bad things that happen in the series in a really adorable way. What's back there? What's up?
The other way around. Shadowstar is the overtime.
That's right, yes, Shadowstar was written first, yes.
Okay. So now I think we've seen enough horrible shit.
I want to say there are seriously like 12 more shows I would love to tell you guys about. We're running out.
So I think we need a little bit of brainage. So this show is about 4 girls who love school so much that they decide to live at school and start a club called the School Living Club. Yay!
大丈夫だったか？保健室行ったんだろ？もしかしてサボり？ずるい。違う。太郎丸が逃げ出してさ。もしかして男？女の子じゃないけど。へえ、どんなやつ？それとね、今朝は私のスカートに飛びついて脱がそうとしたり。授業中の教室に忍び込んで机の上飛び跳ねたり。そりゃやべえな。でもそこが可愛いっていうか。可愛いのかよ。てか太郎丸何者だよ。犬だよ。学園生活部で飼ってるの。なんだよそれ、先に言えよ。てか学園生活部なんでもありだな。太郎丸どこでも入っちゃうんだよ。前足でパーンって扉開けて。本当に犬なのかよ太郎丸。もうほっとくと勝手にどっか行っちゃうから困るんだよね。お預けしてる時の顔がもうね、すっごく可愛くてギューってしたくなるんだよ。先輩。あ、みーくん。どうしたの？学園生活部の。そう、みきちゃんだからみーくん。みーくんって頭いいんだよ。またね。お待たせ。どうしたの？いえ。みーくん、なんか硬くない？やっぱ緊張してる？別にしてません。もう上級生だからって緊張しなくてもいいのに。ですからしてません。
Wait, that wasn't brain bleach at all. Okay, so this show, there's a zombie outbreak, and little pink-haired girl's mind kind of breaks from the stress of this. So she invents the idea that she is living at school because she just loves school so much.
That's what her friends tell her.
Yeah, her 3 friends have kind of come up with that idea and put it in her head to kind of cover up the fact that she has absolutely no self-preservation instinct whatsoever.
And so like 3 of these girls are trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse, and they have like the one pink girl who's just like, everything's great. And I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
There are some, zombies, but there are some interesting twists on this one, and it's done from an interesting angle.
Now,
but here's some real brain leaks, because we do like to end this panel on a different note.
Do you mind if I start with the first half of the story?
Go ahead.
Now, one thing we are going to talk about in our Anime in America panel is the idea of bundle deals. A lot of times when American distributors want to license a Japanese anime, the anime studio will say, okay, you can have this very popular series, but we also want you to license this more obscure series so we can make some money back.
So in 2004, ADV got stuck with a show called Gakko no Kaidan, which was so terrible it didn't even do well in Japan. So they're watching it and they're like, what do we do with this? And the Japanese producers were like, you know what? This show bombs so bad over here that we're gonna let you do anything you want to it.
Total creative freedom.
Which never happens. I mean, even the most terrible anime usually have to be faithful to the original. And so Stephen Foster is like, anything? And they're like, keep the basic plot line on.
And the character names.
And most of the character names, and you can do whatever you want to. So what they did is they threw out the script completely and had the voice actors ad-lib everything in the booth. And the result was Ghost Stories.
Yes.
Possibly one of the most epic gems of comedy to come out of the mid-2000s.
And last year, Crunchyroll actually put the dub up on their streaming site, so you can watch this on Crunchyroll in its filthy, offensive gloriousness.
It is very filthy and offensive. Like, for example, the purple-haired girl who in the original was spiritually aware, instead is now a Bible-beating evangelical Christian.
Yes, and the younger brother in this show,
played by Christine Otten, she couldn't think of any words to say in the booth,
so she would just scream.
Like, so they made the little boy mentally challenged.
And it's
that's what kind of show this is.
It's actually a plot point that they keep returning to, and this show is so committed to its own ridiculousness, and we are going to share some of that with you.
It's 4:30. School is finally over. Time to go home, load up that bong, and watch Pokemon!
Manshita, I've been looking everywhere for you. You need to go to Central Hospital, and I've got to take a dump. Your father's been in an accident, and I'm about to have one.
So why'd they close off the tunnel anyway? Years ago, people went in there, but they didn't come out. Not unlike your sister.
Hey man, let's get off the sisters. Especially since I just got off yours.
I like your sister. She's one hot chula. I know that you're gay.
You're such brave, strong, handsome men. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
No, I'm Jewish. Not Grand Theft Auto again. What would Hillary Clinton say? Mom, what's going on?
Come rub my nipples.
Excuse me?
The V on my sweater stands for very big deal, but that's beside the point. Now, any nomination... Are you trying to tell me you want to run?
Hell no, I don't want to run. It's just a matter of time before they force their way in. It might be a little painful, like watching 2.5 Men, but you'll both get used to it after a while.
I'm sorry, I've never gotten used to that joke.
The rest of them will be all right. The movers will take care of it. Don't worry.
Why you want to live in your dead wife's old house is beyond me. It's sick. You're sick. When this bitch kicks, I'm moving to Vegas.
I want a huge allowance in breasts when I get older.
And when I get older, I want to fondle said breasts.
It's times like this that I support the Amish mode of dress. It is on the plain side, but it does curtail adolescent directions.
Hey, what do you want tonight? Lean cuisine or dumplings?
Dumplings?
You're gonna get
Special Olympics application.
Special Olympics. Can't wait.
Leave him alone.
Hey, Johnny, I'm gonna do something. Can you stop with put shot, spot?
Tyler Banks. Ketra, what do you want for dinner? Tell me.
I want dumplings.
I'm gonna beat you, retarded.
Where's everybody?
I don't know.
Obeying horror movie rules. I'm going to go out alone. You stay here while I go out looking for help.
Okay. God bless him. Leaving me here alone and defenseless in a cemetery. What a guy. What the hell? Is that the time? Petra, you're gonna have to pop target today. But there's a hole in my gym shirt. And there's a really weird sticky stain in my shorts. To respond with violence. He should follow the example of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and forgive his persecutors.
Yeah, and take a look at what happened to him. Drop the Krispy Kreme Serpico! We need your help here!
Hey, maybe we should arm them like this with little guns.
Sometimes I wish all people could marry the animals.
Huh? Get back here! Do you know how many child molesters there are in Japan?
Momoko, open your eyes. Ooh. Look for the Jesus Christ Superstar looking graphic. Ooh.
Lord, is that you?
Yes, it is. Nah, I'm just kidding.
When he died, I was so sad that I would never hear that voice again. His laugh. His funny little requests.
Touch me.
His reprimands.
Touch me hard.
You can't cancel the festival! One little retarded boy has his heart set on this thing! Not to mention all the hours and hours this very handsome personal trainer has spent helping the little dweeb. If you won't think of him to consider all the Halo playing and monkey spanking I've sacrificed!
Hey, Hajime, where's the bathroom?
Just piss on the Toby Keith poster.
Number 2!
God in heaven, I can't believe it. It only gets worse when you get older.
There's no paper.
But then if everything was already reversed, which world would be the real world? Would it be the mirror world or this one? Maybe the reflection we see is real. Ever thought of that? Isn't that just freaking you out? I mean, seriously, isn't that just whack crap? I'm playing with your mind, man. And you know what the weird part is? I'm not even high. Not a bit.
So yes, the entire show is like that. It is brilliant, it is hilarious, watch it. And I think that is all we have for tonight. We're gonna step aside, probably get some lunch, and if you need a business card, please come up and get one.
Yes, and if you guys are still here, please check us out later for Anime in America, the history of anime licensing. But thank you guys.
Okay, thank you.